Finally, Eli Roth has come back to gory horror. Greetings, my fellow gorehounds. I'm the horror guru.
Oh, and I'm Count Jackula.
And he's Count Jackula. And today we're going to talk about Thanksgiving, the latest Eli Roth directed horror film. That is not only the latest Eli Roth directed horror film, it's also the fourth spin-off to the Grindhouse film franchise.
Yeah.
There was Machete, Machete 2, and Hobo with a Shotgun. And now, Thanksgiving. Now, unlike Machete and Hobo with a Shotgun, the main difference between this and those movies is that this movie doesn't go full bore with the Grindhouse look. It also makes a lot more changes to the original trailer than Machete or Hobo with a Shotgun did.
Yeah, I think you said it best where you're like, this feels like the remake of the movie that was advertised in Grindhouse.
Exactly. Whatever that movie was in the Grindhouse trailer, this movie is like the modern remake of it. So there's a completely different cast, the visuals are a little bit more polished, and there is the iconic imagery of the original movie, but in a completely different context than the original movie.
Yeah, plus this one is actually set in modern day.
Yes, that's the other part of it. There's cell phones, and it's actually a big part of the plot that people are using cell phones. There's a major event live streamed at the beginning of this movie is what kicks off the whole plot. Basically, this movie is about a town, Plymouth, and it is a town that, much like My Bloody Valentine, is obsessed with a specific holiday. And in this case, it's Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And one year, on Black Friday, there is a riot at the local grocery store. Not grocery store, big box store.
Like big box store. It's like a Walmart.
Right Mart, I think it's called. It's called Right Mart. And a bunch of people either end up dead or severely injured. Flash forward a whole year, and now there's a serial killer running around town killing everyone that was deeply involved in that riot. Most likely using some of the footage that was live streamed as picking out his victims from the live stream footage from the event when it happened. So that's the plot of the movie. We follow a main character named Jessica and her group of friends. She is the daughter of the person who owns the store, and her group of friends are a group of assholes who are involved in this riot and are getting picked off one by one as a result of it. So there's kind of like a I know what you did last summer kind of vibe to this, but also with a little bit of My Bloody Valentine given the setting, as well as the fact that she, the main character, is in like a love triangle with two other characters, one of which like disappeared for a while and came back as her former lover. So it's very My Bloody Valentine. But none of that is really why you're going to be going to see this movie. It's not about the plot, even though there is a plot here and it is well done, and there is good acting, good characters, good all around everything. The reason why you're going to be coming to see this movie is to see the gory kills. And this movie has them. It's not quite as gory as Terrifier 2, but it is way gorier than most of those 80s movies.
Oh yeah, there's not a lot of nudity in this movie. In fact, I don't think there's any, really.
Okay, there is one scene in which a girl takes like her panties off and you can see her butt. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's about it.
There's more nudity in the original trailer than there is in the final movie.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's very obvious this movie was also updated for the times. There are certain elements from the original trailer that might have been deemed problematic and were intentionally problematic because they're recreating a Grindhouse trailer, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
But for this movie, they toned some of those things down for the final film. Also, like, there's some variations on the things that happen in the trailer. Like, there's a scene in the trailer in which a girl's jumping on a trampoline. The way that scene ends in the final movie is gorier than the original trailer, but it's also very different than the original trailer.
Yeah, it's
I like both endings, but they both have different types of punchlines.
Yeah, they're very different.
They're very different. They also have completely different setups. In the trailer, it was like a jock and a cheerleader in like a gym. And in this movie, it is a slightly different scenario with a much older man than the original movie.
In fact, I think the only real major element of that original trailer that didn't make it into the movie was the cop going, "It's blood." You know?
That scene did not make it into the final movie, but neither did the, there's an extended blowjob decapitation scene in the trailer.
That's right.
That's not in the final movie.
That's also not there.
There's also a scene of an old lady being stalked in her house. That's not in the final movie, but that scene is kind of recontextualized in the diner scene in this movie. It kind of happens, but differently.
Yeah, man, what an opening.
The fucking Black Friday riot.
Black Friday riot.
Like it's a weird scene because it's like not what you expect for the opening of a slasher movie, but like the way it builds and the way it explodes, it's perfect. The main characters are taking everything pretty seriously. Like, there's some characters who are goofier than others, but for the most part, the characters take the whole situation seriously. But the movie isn't.
Right.
And more importantly, the movie is judging these characters the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
So it's got kind of like a mean-spirited sense of humor. You can hear the director cackling as opposed to the characters cackling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how to put it? It is the director of Hostel.
Yeah, exactly. I think for most people, the humor in this movie is going to land a little bit more than the humor in those movies, which was kind of lost on a bunch of people. I think in this movie, people are going to get it.
Well, yeah, because it's very on the nose.
Yeah. This movie is great because it succeeds at everything it sets out to do.
Oh, absolutely.
The actual plot and mystery at the center of it is engaging.
Oh, yeah.
The characters, even though many of them are assholes, are fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
The main character is sympathetic enough that you're fine following her, even though she is kind of the daughter of the worst person in town.
Yes.
And the actual slashing part is done phenomenally.
Yes.
Better than most slasher movies.
No, this is a movie that you watch because you're like, I want to watch motherfuckers die.
Yeah.
Click. Let's watch this.
This is without a doubt the definitive Thanksgiving horror movie. Any other Thanksgiving horror movie, whether it be Black Friday or Thanksgiving, step aside. This is the new king in town.
Yeah, we have a winner. Yeah.
And I sincerely hope, given the way this movie ends, that they make a Thanksgiving 2 and take it even further.
Yes.
I fucking hope so. I could totally watch one of these every couple of years. I'm down. And with that said, the movie is currently in theaters, so if you want to go see it, you're going to have to go see it in theaters. I do not know when it will hit streaming, but when it does, be on the lookout for it. And with that said, let us move on to the spoilers.
They got me on this one. I didn't predict the killer on this one.
I actually did, but the movie did a really good job of tricking me along the way.
Yeah, it hit it really well.
So as we've explained, the movie has a murder mystery at the center of it, where the kids are trying to figure out who is trying to kill them because of this riot and why. What event during this riot triggered this? And there's many suspects. There is the main character's 2 boyfriends.
Yep.
One of which broke his arm during the riot and it ruined his entire baseball career. The other one is her other boyfriend, who they find out over the course of the movie is the friend of someone who died during the riot. But it turns out he was just getting drugs from the guy. But the footage made it look like they were friends. So for a while, he's suspect for that reason. There's also other characters in this that are suspect, such as the husband of one of the women who died, who was also working at the Right Mart when it happened. So he definitely blames the person who owns the place for this.
Yes.
But the character it ends up being is actually the one I suspected from the get-go for one simple reason, and I'll explain that in a minute. It turns out to be the sheriff. The sheriff, the character who has been investigating the murders and who has been interfacing with the kids with all the leads that they find along the way.
Yeah.
Turns out he was behind it the whole time. And the reason why he's behind it is actually the reason I suspected him in the first place. And that's that the wife of the guy who worked at the Right Mart, who died during the riot, he was having an affair with that woman.
Yeah.
Which they establish early on in the movie by the way she talks to him when he enters the party. And I'm like, oh, there's something going on there. But then the rest of the movie never addressed it, so I'm like, he's the killer.
Also, and I can't believe I forgot to mention this, the movie foreshadows him being the killer from the very opening shot. We see someone approaching a house via the classic slasher cam, only for the movie to subvert our expectations by having it turn out to just be the sheriff coming over for Thanksgiving dinner. But by the end of the movie, he actually was the killer, so it really was a slasher cam. They subvert our expectations and then subvert it back again, and it's just fucking brilliant. I love it.
But despite that, the movie actually tricked me along the way with potential suspects. Like, the actual build of the killer when he's in the costume and he's going around killing people and the way he moves is very reminiscent to the way the 2 boyfriends move. Especially the boyfriend who was buying the drugs.
Right.
That guy, like, he looks as tall as the guy, he looks about the similar shape, and just the way he walks, he carries himself in a very similar fashion.
You know, he's, because he's not a big guy.
Yeah, Yeah. But then there's also other things that happen, like there's a point in which the killer throws a weapon at someone, and it's very reminiscent to the way someone throws a baseball. And so I was like, oh shit, maybe it's baseball guy. The one thing that made me rule him out for a while, because the killer seemed like he was taller than the main character.
Yeah.
Which this guy was not.
Correct. I thought it was, okay, this character, this mom character is played by Gina Gershon.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to turn out that she survived the Black Friday, but now was out for revenge.
Which, funny enough, would have been more like an 80s horror movie in which you would not be able to predict who the person was.
Yeah, because I was like, all right, who had the motive that we lingered on that it couldn't possibly fucking be? All right. It's her. But then it turned out to be the sheriff, and I was like, I forgot he existed.
But what I will say is I fucking love the explosive finale of this movie with the giant fucking turkey that explodes.
Yeah, the giant turkey balloon that explodes. You're like, oh my God.
Something that isn't in the original trailer is the decapitation in this movie, as opposed to the blowjob scene, happens completely differently.
Correct.
In this movie, it's this security guard guy who ran away when the riot started, so he's blamed because you did nothing to stop the riot. Not that he really could have on his own, to be clear.
Yeah, to be clear. Like,
but he gets decapitated in his home while his cat watches. And the killer feeds the cat and then pets the cat before leaving with the guy's head.
Yeah.
In like a duffel bag. So it's a completely different scenario than the blowjob decapitation.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, and this is a criticism I have of the movie, the main character's dad seems to survive this movie, and he probably deserves the worst fate out of all of them. He's the one who owns that mart. He's the one who made that guy work that night in the first place. He's the one who set the time, even though his wife insisted on it. And he lives in this movie, and that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I hope he gets a horrible, terrible death if they ever make a Thanksgiving 2. That will make it up to me. And with that said, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Oh, you can find me here on YouTube. Just put those fucking links up there, man. Like, guys, this is fucking bullshit. This is getting crazy. Like, and just as I thought, hey, I'm getting this, we're all coming back together. Oh yeah, no, it's X now, not fucking.
I know, it's stupid.
God fucking damn it.
Y'all know me, I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, Mastodon. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way, but we will certainly accept more.
And if you made it this far into the video, then I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag BasedMovieEver. Use the hashtag BasedMovieEver, that way I know, that way Jack knows, that way the whole world knows that you enjoy a good Thanksgiving pun. Happy holidays, my fellow gorehounds. Peace.